Shit. Alright, the fuck name the my name? Holy fuck. Hey, no. Huh? Who are you? What's your fucking name? My name? Holy fuck. Hey, no, yes, your fucking name, man. Well, who are you? Oh, my name the question. You get the fuck back out the room.
Yep.
What the fuck is anybody scared of you? You got no fucking power.
Because I'm fucking Batman. Y'all gonna start putting respect on who the fuck I am. You know what? That's why I got this new guy getting hired. When he gets hired, I'm gonna look way, way cooler. This fucking idiot doesn't have powers or face.
What? I'm sorry. Who are you again? Huh? Who are you? What's your fucking name? My name? Holy fuck. Hey, no, yes, your fucking name, man. Well, who are you? Oh, my name the question. The question. Okay, so what the fuck do you do? Oh, you mean what I like to do? No. You like burritos? I mean, what the fuck? Listen, what the fuck are your, do you have powers? Oh, you mean like shit I can do? Like, I be asking questions and shit. Shit like that. That's what I be doing, like, quite a lot of questions. So you don't have any fucking powers? I just said I'll be asking questions. Asking questions isn't a fucking power. I'm asking you questions right now. Is that a power? I mean, yeah, but you Superman, so you got all the powers, so I would assume you have questions. That a power? Shit, what the fuck ain't the my name? Holy fuck. Hey, no, yes, your fucking name, man. Well, who are you? Oh, my name the question. The question. Okay, so what the fuck do you do? Oh, you mean what I like to do? No. You like burritos? I mean, what the fuck? Listen, what the fuck are your, do you have powers? Oh, you mean like shit I can do? Like, I be asking questions and shit. Shit like that. That's what I be doing, like, quite a lot of questions. So you don't have any fucking powers? I just said I'll be asking questions. Asking questions isn't a fucking power. I'm asking you questions right now. Is that a power? I mean, yeah, but you Superman, so you got all the powers, so I would assume you have question powers too. Who the fuck told you to apply for this job? Was it Bruce? Did Batman? Bro, I don't like how you really trying to flex your question power ability. So how about I ask some questions? What kind of hair gel is that? What? I don't fucking use hair gel. How does your hair shine like oiled up thigh ass? This is a natural gloss. I don't have to use any products. Oh, so you be just lying and shit, huh? What the fuck I gotta lie for? Crack an egg yolk on your shit in the morning, don't you? I'm done with my questions. You know you're not getting this job, right? What?
So your dumbass ain't get the job.
No, I'm done. What the I don't your hair. Did Batman? Bro, I don't like you have question powers too. Who the fuck told you to apply for this job? Was it Bruce? Did Batman? Bro, I don't like how you really trying to flex your question power ability. So how about I ask some questions? What kind of hair gel is that? What? I don't fucking use hair gel. How does your hair shine like oiled up thigh ass? This is a natural gloss. I don't have to use any products. Oh, so you be just lying and shit, huh? What the fuck I gotta lie for? Crack an egg yolk on your shit in the morning, don't you? I'm done with my questions. You know you're not getting this job, right? What?
So your dumbass ain't get the job.
No, bitch, but let me ask the questions. I got a plan though. You can ask me.
Is the plan asking somebody else a fucking question?
Bitch, what you think? That's what the fuck I do.
Bro,
I ask fucking questions. Why you can't support? Why you can't?
All right, so what's the fucking plan?
You let me ask the questions. Down, you fucking. That's my brand.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
What if I told you I know where Lex Luthor at?
So you're like everybody else on the fucking East Coast. We all know where the fuck Lex Luthor is.
How the fuck everybody know that?
There's a big fucking building with his name on it.
Bitch, think she's smart and shit. All right, well, I'm going to fucking kill Lex Luthor, and then Superman will fuck me after that.
I want you to know when this shit don't work, we getting a divorce.
That's how a strip club ATM for you. Lex Luthor. What the fuck? Bro, where your face?
Fucking building with us on the fucking East Coast. We all know where the fuck Lex Luthor is.
How the fuck everybody know that?
There's a big fucking building with his name on it.
Bitch, think she's smart and shit. All right, well, I'm going to fucking kill Lex Luthor, and then Superman will fuck me after that.
I want you to know when this shit don't work, we getting a divorce.
That's how a strip club ATM for you. Lex Luthor. What the fuck? Bro, where your face at? Hey, I'm about to murder you, bro. Man, quit playing. Hey, bro, get out my seat real quick. I'm not out here playing with you, bro. You about to get murdered. Ain't the last wishes before, you know what I'm saying? I send your ass to hell. I don't got time for this shit today. You know face having eyes. Fuck. Hey, Mercy, I need another desk sent up here, please. Bitch, just send another desk.
Doctor said you're gonna make a halfway recovery.
What that mean?
I mean, you'll be alive. What? But let me ask you this. Do you still have feeling in your left hand? Let's hand it right way, right?
Yeah.
Do you think you could write your name? You think you could, like, write it in cursive and sign it?
My name?
Yeah, because, I'm gonna bring the paperwork in tomorrow. The divorce papers.
Leaving me?
Oh yeah, absolutely have made a decision to leave you. That is what's going on.
But yeah, at my lowest moment, what happened if for better or for
We
worse?
have an argument there if there was ever a for better version in our marriage, but it's all been worse. For worse or for worse. So I think that's a deal breaker. So see you tomorrow with those papers. I'll be single tomorrow.
Well, damn, did he beat a face onto
I
you?
had a face the whole time. It was just covered. So that's what.
I mean, you know what you did was really stupid, right?
Yeah, but it was brave too. So I should be on the league.
What? Hell no. You shouldn't be on nowhere near
What
us.
the fuck you mean? No, I just got my ass beat.
Tell
for
you to
this.
do that? I didn't tell you to do shit.
Why did you come? Why are you?
Because I like to stare at stupid people with judgment in my eyes.
Fuck you. Why?
I think that's a deal breaker. So see you tomorrow with those papers. I'll be single tomorrow.
Well, damn, did he beat a face onto
I had
you?
a face the whole time. It was just covered. So that's what.
I mean, you know what you did was really stupid, right?
Yeah, but it was brave too. So I should be on the league.
What? Hell no. You shouldn't be on nowhere near us.
What the fuck you mean? No, I just got my ass beat.
Tell
for
you to
this.
do that? I didn't tell you to do shit.
Why did you come? Why are you?
Because I like to stare at stupid people with judgment in my eyes.
Fuck you, Superman.
Hey, I got a question for you. Do you need your ass beat again? What the hell wrong with you telling me to hire that fucking idiot with no face?
Shit.
What did you hear
What the
us?
fuck you mean? No, I just got my ass beat.
Tell
for
you to
this.
do that? I didn't tell you to do shit.
Why did you come? Why are you?
Because I like to stare at stupid people with judgment in my eyes.
Fuck you, Superman.
Hey, I got a question for you. Do you need your ass beat again? What the hell wrong with you telling me to hire that fucking idiot with no face?
Shit, motherfucker, you don't see me fight for my life? Oh shit! Fuck you, done.
This shit by my fucking self. We already have enough liability on the team. I'm not gonna add an additional guy with no fucking face.
Shut up. I helped.
Excuse me. Why haven't you signed those papers? I know you fucking hear me.
Bitch, I know you ain't coming here asking me no questions, knowing I asked
I wouldn't be
questions.
here asking shit if you signed those fucking
I
papers.
can't even hear you right now because I ain't got no face. I ain't got no
You
face.
don't need a face to hear.
Yes, you do. You don't know.
You got ears on the side of your head. Use ears to hear. Quit playing
Bitch,
with me.
you don't know shit about not
Bro,
having a
smack you, wash
face.
your
You have to
face in a fucking
concentrate
second.
to
You
use
can't-
your ears when you
where
don't
the
have.
fucking papers?
Stop asking me questions.
Where's the fucking divorce papers?
It's right there.
Bro, who the fuck is Candace? I said, where the side of your...
Knowing I asked.
He can't handle the question.
I wouldn't be here.
Bitch,
Why haven't you signed those papers? I know you fucking hear me.
Bitch, I know you ain't coming here asking me no questions, knowing I asked
I wouldn't be
questions.
here asking shit if you signed those fucking
I
papers.
can't even hear you right now because I ain't got no face. I ain't got no
You
face.
don't need a face to hear.
Yes, you do. You don't know.
You got ears on the side of your head. Use ears to hear. Quit playing
Bitch,
with me.
you don't know shit about not
Bro,
having a
smack you, wash
face.
your
You have to
face in a fucking
concentrate
second.
to
You
use
can't-
your ears when you
where
don't
the
have.
fucking papers?
Stop asking me questions.
Where's the fucking divorce papers?
It's right there.
Bro, who the fuck is Candace? I said, where the fuck is
I
Candace?
mean, what you mean?
This is not your fucking name.
I'm supposed to sign my name?
Bro, you gonna make me catch a body, bro.
Hey,
Like,
you need to help me because I think I could get on the Justice League
nah,
still.
bro, this shit again. No, you can't.
Yes, I can. You ever heard of blackmail?
About the Green Lantern? He don't like you
No,
either.
not
Blackmail.
that blackmail.
There's only one black male on.
Heard of black? I think
You gonna make me catch a body, bro.
Hey,
Like,
you need to help me because I think I could get on the Justice League
nah,
still.
bro, this shit again. No, you can't.
Yes, I can. You ever heard of blackmail?
About the Green Lantern? He don't like you
No,
either.
not that blackmail.
There's only one black male on the team.
Oh, it's others. They just be in the
I
background.
don't got time for this shit today, bro. Why you sitting over here?
I'm trying to see
What's up? What you mean?
what's good? I'm shooting my shot here.
Shooting your shot at who?
You, bitch. What the fuck you mean?
Ain't you married?
I mean, yeah, but I be cheating. I mean, yeah, but I be cheating.
You married? I don't got time for this shit today.
Blackmail.
There's
I can. You ever heard of blackmail?
About the Green Lantern? He don't like you
No,
either.
not that blackmail.
There's only one black male on the team.
Oh, it's others. They just be in the
I
background.
don't got time for this shit today, bro. Why you sitting over here?
I'm trying to see
What's up? What you mean?
what's good? I'm shooting my shot here.
Shooting your shot at who?
You, bitch. What the fuck you mean?
Ain't you married?
I mean, yeah, but I be cheating.
Go away, please.
Oh, man, don't be such a fucking scaredy cat. If you're worried about my wife, I'm very discreet. She will never know.
Bro, your wife is right there.
What? Well, damn.
Seriously.
Hey, y'all wanna answer some questions now?
No, who the fuck are you?
Huh?
Who are you?
What you spelling?
Wait, ain't nobody
I
spelling.
heard you say are you.
Yes, who are
What
you?
my future side chick is trying to ask
What?
is who you are. You are what? I'm not anything. I'm not anything. What is your fucking...
Ain't nobody spelling.
Y'all,
Go away,
oh
please.
man, don't be such a fucking scaredy cat. If you're worried about my wife, I'm very discreet. She will never
Bro,
know.
your wife is right there.
What? Well, damn.
Seriously.
Hey, y'all wanna answer some questions
No,
now?
who the fuck are you?
Huh?
Who are you?
What you spelling?
Wait, ain't nobody
I
spelling.
heard you say are you.
Yes, who are
What
you?
my future side chick is trying to ask
What?
is who you are. You are what? I'm not anything. I'm not anything. What is your fucking name, guy? Oh, my name? Jesus Christ. Oh, my name ain't Jesus. I would hope not. Do you think Jesus will have good questions, though?
What? Did somebody slip me some kryptonite?
Also, which one of y'all got a sex tape?
What?
First of all, we don't know your fucking name. Who the fuck do you think you are asking a personal question like that? Well, that's my power. That's not a fucking power. Oh, you know about powers? You got powers? Look, man, you want to see the sex tape or not?
45 minutes so...
Powers? Well, I know you're fucking... Oh, no.
You got ears on the side of your head.
Use your ears. Powers. Look, my fucking power. Fuck you. Which one of y'all got? Jesus, my name? Jesus Christ. Oh, my name ain't Jesus. I would hope not. Do you think Jesus will have good questions, though?
What? Did somebody slip me some kryptonite?
Also, which one of y'all got a sex tape?
What?
First of all, we don't know your fucking name. Who the fuck do you think you are asking a personal question like that? Well, that's my power. That's not a fucking power. Oh, you know about powers? You got powers? Look, man, you want to see the sex tape or not?
45-minute solo rim job?
Mm-hmm. This shit gross.
And all close-ups.
Hey, I'm gonna need a copy of this to blackmail you. I mean, you're free to have a copy, but as far as the blackmail, I can't do that. What do you mean? Why I can't do the blackmail? I mean, this video's streaming with all the major platforms already. It's public. And I send it out with my Christmas card every year, so I just watch you eat your own ass for half an hour for no reason.
Yes.
I'm done with my questions. Let me know if you still want a copy. Your bro ain't even get hired. That shit crazy.
Oh, I don't even know how he fucked that up.
I already tried to go fight Lex Luthor by himself. What, is that true?
Yeah, and he got...
I'm done with my questions. Let me know. Watch it. It's public. And I send it out with my Christmas card every year, so I just watch you eat your own ass for half an hour for no reason.
Yes.
I'm done with my questions. Let me know if you still want a copy. Your bro ain't even get hired. That shit crazy.
Oh, I don't even know how he fucked that
I
up.
already tried to go fight Lex Luthor by himself. What, is that true?
Yeah, and he got his ass whipped.
Yeah, that was a dumbass move. He shouldn't have did that.
I mean, I don't know how he got his ass whipped.
Lex Luthor, A-list villain.
A-list villain?
I mean, yeah, he's Superman's arch nemesis.
Bruh, if Lex Luthor was my villain, he would have been to Arkham at least 14 times by now.
I mean, it might not be as easy as
I
you
don't
think.
really like to be saying shit like this out loud because y'all want to seem like I'm hating, but you know, Clark kind of a bitch, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, I could take Lex down easy. That's light work. I mean, who the fuck is he anyway, bro? He's just a rich motherfucker. He ain't even got no powers.
You joking, right?
No.
No.
Oh, shit!
Keep it down. I'm trying to concentrate and I ain't got no face.
Bro, I thought you said we was going...
You hurt Kevin's spine? Oh, you don't got us fucked up in the face.
You said we were going out.
That bitch done fucked up Craig's face. He ain't gonna never get his wife back. He will never find love again, you inconsiderate bitch.
Shut your ass up.
I just got it pierced. Did you just kick that man in his pierced nutsack? You cruel bitch. I can kill you. Oh, fuck both of you. Not so beautiful nipples, Lawrence. I'll avenge you. Die, bitch.
You said we were going out. What the fuck are we
Oh,
doing?
bitch. What?
Ain't we out right now?
Brain.
What the fuck? What kind of house?
Well, what I'm trying to figure out why you keep asking me questions.
Did you know he was behind me?
Huh? Hell yeah, Lex, just hands down.
What? Oh, fuck both of you. That man in his pierced nutsack. You cruel bitch. I can kill you. Oh, fuck both of you. Not so beautiful nipples, Lawrence. I'll avenge you. Die, bitch.
You said we were going out. What the fuck are we doing?
Oh, bitch. What?
Ain't we out right now?
Brain.
What the fuck? What kind of house?
Well, what I'm trying to figure out why you keep asking me questions.
Did you know he was behind me?
Huh? Hell yeah, Lex, just hands down the most evil shit you done came up with yet. And now I'm gonna listen to my evil playlist while I'm playing it out, cause I got an aux cord hookup.
Ox cord. What the fuck?
Bro, how the fuck do y'all keep getting in my office?
Bro, how the fuck you make a whole evil robot and add an ox cord?
Cause I fucking want to listen to music, stupid.
Bro, an ox cord though. Are you building an evil robot or a 2009 Nissan Versa? The world is fucking wireless now. You ain't never heard of Bluetooth?
Bluetooth? What the fuck I need with blue teeth?
Blue teeth. I said tooth.
Bro, I'm an evil genius. I ain't no fucking dentist.
Oh shit.
What?
Nothing.
Ain't nothing. You just said oh shit. Oh shit what, bro?
I mean, I didn't know you were stupid.
Bro, what? Who the fuck you calling stupid?
See, this is why I didn't want to say anything. I didn't want to.
I'm stupid with these hands, though.
Come on, bro. You don't want to do that. That's kind of my thing.
Batman, I'll beat
Look,
your ass.
Lex, you're not ready for this type of smoke. You sit behind a desk or some shit.
Man,
like that,
square your
right?
bitch ass up, Batman.
Look, bro, I'm not finna do all this shit with you today, okay? What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna destroy that evil ass robot up there. Then I'm gonna dip. I got shit I want to do today, all right? So just move your ass back while I throw this batarang.
Hell yeah. You ain't see that shit coming out, did you? See, I've been doing some experiments that have been giving me super abilities, but unfortunately, they deteriorate my intelligence.
The word's intelligence.
And get the fuck.
Yeah, damn.
The word's intelligence. The word's intelligence.
And get the fuck.
Yeah, damn. Hold up, Lex Luthor did this?
So you brought her in to laugh? How many times I gotta tell y'all this shit? Don't you got superheroes?
Oh, we heard you the first time. It just doesn't stop being hilarious.
What the fuck is funny about me getting thrown out of the top floor of the tallest fucking building in Metropolis?
What the fuck is not funny? You're Batman and can't fly.
Shit, I wouldn't even think about that. I was thinking about how the fuck you get your ass beat by the weakest villain of all fucking
On
time.
God, bro. I mean, like, what are you doing? He's not even that type of villain. This is like getting beat up by Elon Musk.
You don't know if Elon Musk can beat somebody's ass. And I told you, Lex has powers
Look,
now.
stop the cap and take the
I'm
L.
not capping. Fuck
Mad
you.
at me. I didn't beat your ass. And how long do you think it's gonna take you to heal up? Because, you know, we got shit to do.
I was thrown through a reinforced window and fell 42 stories.
But did you die? Did you die, though? Did the little bat hurt his wing? Aw. Lighten your bitch ass up. And stay the fuck out, Metropolis. I don't need your goddamn help. You don't see me in fucking Gotham breaking up crap games or whatever the fuck you do.
Who are you aiming at when you threw that desktop monitor?
Your desktop being monitored?
Did you know that guy was behind me when you threw that?
Games or whatever the fuck you do, goddamn help. You don't see me in fucking Gotham breaking up crap games or whatever the fuck you do.
That's the joke.
Who are you aiming at when you threw that desktop monitor?
Your desktop being monitored?
Did you know that guy was behind me when you threw that? Or did you just miss?
Who a mess? You getting remarried?
You better stop.
And also, you know I don't got no face.
You
right?
keep playing with.
Yo, that's whatever the fuck you do.
Who are you aiming at when you threw that desktop monitor?
Your desktop being monitored?
Did you know that guy was behind me when you threw that? Or did you just miss?
Who a mess? You getting remarried?
You better stop.
And also, you know I don't got no face.
You
right?
keep playing with me, people gonna be asking where you're buried.
What you mean? Hey, you see this?
See what? You changing the subject?
This holds the information I need to get on the Justice League.
Goddamn again?
What you mean again? Do you realize this shit is my life?
Your life is over.
Why would you say
That shit's
that?
never happening. That dream is dead.
Can I have that back?
You will get it after you sign those fucking papers. Dumbass.
Why are you such a bitch?
Arrow.
Whoa, shit, you scared me with my pants down. I thought you were in a coma, by the way.
It wasn't a coma, it was a neck brace, and I'm just wearing it under my cup. Can you put that towel on?
No can do, batch. Like my balls to air dry. Sorry about that.
You're weird. Look, I need you and your wife to cover an interrogation I had scheduled. Is that an erection?
What? I suppose it is. I guess it jumped up when you startled me. Surprises are like emotional Viagra.
I could have just stayed in Gotham, but I had to start a whole league.
Hello?
I got a question.
Oh my God, what do you want?
Can you stop asking me questions? I called you to ask you a question.
Question.
Stop asking. Can I have my flash drive back?
No, I told.
Question.
Hello?
I got a question.
Oh my God, what do you want?
Can you stop asking me questions? I called you to ask you a question.
What's the question?
Stop asking. Can I have my flash drive back?
No, I told you what you had to do to get the flash drive back.
Oh, what was
Divorce
that?
papers. How did he decide the divorce papers? How you forgot that?
Cause I ain't got no face, all right? I ain't remember because I ain't got no face.
Oh my God, I would hang up on you if I need a ride right now. Pick me up off 8th.
Now look, I'm not trying to be here all goddamn night, Monstro. Spill the beans like you used to doing on your plate, and tell us what the fuck you know.
So you want me to snitch? My last chances of being a whole real nigga in these streets. You got me fucked up.
What if I told you we have 6 large meat lover pizzas on the way?
I mean, I'll eat it, but don't
From
mean.
Papa John's.
Oh, shit, they got better ingredients.
Stuffed crust.
Oh, hell yeah, just fuck my face. Look, I'll give you some people doing their thing in Uptown Metropolis, Bloodhaven, but I can't do the slums. The slums, that's all.
You want wings and the extra garlic butter?
No, but you win. I'm about telling everybody. Fuck Lex Luthor, fuck this Scarecrow Pig one. Fuck, just give me some paper and pen. I'll write it down. Shit.
All right, that's a deal. I'm gonna even get you a 2-liter soda.
Just let me know whatever you want to know. I got shit. You want to know about your husband?
My husband.
What? Your husband should be cheating. He be cheating like a motherfucker on you. I even seen him with ugly bitches. Like he was with a bitch that looked like me one time. I was like, what the fuck are you doing? No, shut the fuck up. God damn it. Hey, you get off me. Like, he's lying.
Hey, I got a question.
Are you about to ask about that flash driving?
What? If I'm driving, why would I ask about the flash driving? And also, can I have that flash drive back?
Oh my
Do you
God.
think you can ask God for you to give me the flash drive?
Oh, fuck it, it's yours. Damn, just don't ask me no more fucking questions. Please, can you do
If
that?
you can stop asking me questions, yeah, maybe
This
I
does not let you off no fucking questions.
for you to give me the flash drive.
Oh.
Why would I ask about the flash driving?
Are you about?
Damn it. Hey, you get off me. Like, he's lying.
Hey, I got a question.
Are you about to ask about that flash driving?
What? If I'm driving, why would I ask about the flash driving? And also, can I have that flash drive back?
Oh my
Do you
God.
think you can ask God for you to give me the flash drive?
Oh, fuck it, it's yours. Damn, just don't ask me no more fucking questions.
Well, I'm driving. Why would I ask about the flash truck? Anyway, can I get that flash truck?
Damn it. Hey, you get off me. Like, he's lying.
Hey, I got a question.
Are you about to ask about that flash driving?
What? If I'm driving, why would I ask about the flash driving? And also, can I have that flash drive back?
Oh my
Do you
God.
think you can ask God for you to give me the flash drive?
Oh, fuck it, it's yours.
Do you think you could ask God to have you give me the flash drive back?
About the flash drive question.
Are you about to ask?
You get off me. Like, he's lying.
Hey, I got a question.
Are you about to ask about that flash driving?
What? If I'm driving, why would I ask about the flash driving? And also, can I have that flash drive back?
Oh my
Do you
God.
think you can ask God for you to give me the flash drive?
Oh, fuck it, it's yours. Damn, just don't ask me no more fucking questions. Please, can you do
If
that?
you can stop asking me questions, yeah, maybe
If
I
this does not let you off the hook, I will be over there to pick up the papers tomorrow.
So you're just gonna give me the silent treatment the whole night? Now, you know what, Birdie? You keep acting like that. I'm gonna use my B-word privileges.
Oliver, just shut the fuck up.
God damn it, you gonna do your boy like that? Just because I'm unfaithful once means I'm an unfaithful
That's
man?
exactly what it fucking means.
That's
What
the goddamn case. I climbed up this tree, so I'm a
fuck, bro?
koala now? I'm a koala bear now.
No, what you are is fucking stupid. Now shut the fuck up.
Well, I sure the fuck won't shut up, Birdie. I sure the fuck won't shut up because this is America. And you know what, Birdie? I'm not the first unfaithful man. In fact, I got some news for you. All men are unfaithful.
That's wrong. Black men don't cheat.
Bitch, huh? I knew goddamn well I should have never got you them 85 South Show tickets. That damn Carlos Miller. Look, all men cheat. In fact, I'm graduating you to an elite woman status by cheating on you. You know what? Nia Long just got cheated on by her husband. You think you're better than Nia, bitch? Beyonce got cheated on. You think you're better than Beyonce?
I am not Beyonce.
What? Wait a smooth minute. You're goddamn right about that. I ain't gonna disagree with you. Because when was the last time you made an album based on a sour fruit? You can barely make a goddamn glass of decent lemonade. Damn it, you act like I stole money from underprivileged people and their children to build a volleyball field with. You need to go ahead and get over this. And goddamn forgive me, and I say do that right now.
Okay, I'll forgive you.
That's my girl.
After I cheat back.
What?
You heard me? After I cheat
Hold
back,
on,
I'm gonna give
goddamn
you
minute.
some
Now,
dick. That's,
cheat
no,
back,
that's how it's gonna go. That's how I
just
go.
traffic. What? Is this a virus? Why my computer asking me questions? Oh, you know what? Maybe I changed it.
After I give you.
I ain't gonna disagree with you.
I am not.
You bitch. Be a long graduating you.
I didn't
that
even
damn
notice he
Carlos.
slipped it in.
I knew goddamn well should have never got you them 85 South Show tickets. That damn Carlos Miller. Look, all men cheat. In fact, I'm graduating you to an elite woman status by cheating on you. You know what? Nia Long just got cheated on by her husband.
You think you're better than Nia, bitch? Beyonce got cheated on. You think you're better than Beyonce?
I am not Beyonce.
What? Wait a smooth minute. You're goddamn right about that. I ain't gonna disagree with you. Because when was the last time you made an album based on a sour fruit? You can barely make a goddamn glass of decent lemonade. Damn it, you act like I stole money from underprivileged people and their children to build a volleyball field with. You need to go ahead and get over this. And goddamn forgive me, and I say do that right now.
Okay, I'll forgive you.
That's my girl.
After I cheat back.
What?
You heard me? After I cheat back, I'm gonna give you some dick. That's how it's gonna go. That's how I go.
What? Is this a virus? Why my computer asking me questions? Oh, you know what? Maybe I changed it? What? How was that not right? Did I even put a password on here? What did I use? How? Do I have to type in every word that I've ever known?
What the? So he's just sitting there asking himself.
I changed my computer. What? Is this a virus? Why my computer asking me questions? Oh, you know what? Maybe I changed it? What? How was that not right? Did I even put a password on here? What did I use? How? Do I have to type in every word that I've ever known? What is my password? Have I finally met my match on questions? Is this the ultimate question? All the questions I ever asked, I don't have no answer to. But the one question I actually created the answer for, I don't know. If I don't even have my own answers, is my power just not knowing? Am I gonna have to change my name to the I don't know question? And put a question. Goddamn it, that's my girl.
After I cheat back.
What?
You heard me? After I cheat back, I'm gonna give you some dick. That's how it's gonna go. That's how I go.
What? Is this a virus? Why my computer asking me questions? Oh, you know what? Maybe I changed it? What? How was that not right? Did I even put a password on here? What did I use? How? Do I have to type in every word that I've ever known? What is my password? Have I finally met my match on questions? Is this the ultimate question? All the questions I ever asked, I don't have no answer to. But the one question I actually created the answer for, I don't know. If I don't even have my own answers, is my power just not knowing? Am I gonna have to change my name to the I don't know instead of the question? Do I just like asking questions? Do I ever hear the answer? Was Allen Iverson getting his hair braided during practice? What is going on?
Hey, you ain't hear me knocking?
I can't hear. I don't got a face.
Nigga, how the fuck you hear me talking to you if you ain't got... What the fuck is that smell?
Stop asking me
It
questions.
smells like overbaked bounced ass in here.
Do you think I know what that smell like when I don't got a nose?
Oh my god, bro. Hey, look. The fuck is wrong with you?
Ain't it obvious I'm having a question depression? Bitch, quit asking me questions.
Oh, hey, Charles. Are you Charles Ray? Why, yes, and you're a guy in a dumbass hat. Hey, come back here, you goofy son of a bitch. You remember me? We went to grade school together. I used to kick your ass. Years later, we ended up working at the company Multitech together in the customer service department. Remember I fucked your wife at a Christmas party? And she left you for me? And I made you the best man at our wedding because you introduced us. But then you fucked her back right before she walked down the aisle? Remember I tried to kill you at work and I got fired? Come on, you remember. I'm a white guy with a black name. Marquise Jenkins. Holy shit, man, you've aged terribly. That was only 6 months ago. I really thought you ended it. You lost your wife and your job at the same time. Fuck, goddamn. But great catch up. Hey, wait a minute. How is Sheila? Does she still suck dick like a fat bitch in Ethiopia? You know I taught her everything she knows. Wow, really? Who taught you? Hey, if anybody wants to know how to suck a dick real good, ask Marquise. Take me where the hole's at. The fuck is this?
Stop asking me questions, bro.
Don't ask you questions. Fuck you
and I'll ask all the questions I want. I answer questions, ask you. Real good, ask Marquise. Take me where the hole's at.
The fuck is this?
Stop asking me questions, bro.
Don't ask you questions. Fuck you, and I'll ask all the questions I want. I answer questions for a living all day from stupid ass fucking customers. So you're gonna answer my question now, because it's my time, I'm paying you. You're finna get fucking 1 star from me. And I'm drunk as fuck, I'll throw up all over this motherfucker right now. You tell me where the fuck we at.
I got a question.
I know since the last time you saw me, you're probably wondering where I've been. But the real question is, why are you asking me questions? You don't have question powers. You see the man in the back seat screaming like a hyena's orgasm? Do you know his name is Charles Ray? Do you think he's backwards blind? Because Ray Charles was blind forwards. Because his name was frontwards. And Charles Ray is backwards. So if he blind backwards, do that mean he could see?
That's a good question.
Well, did you know Charles Ray works for a company called Multitech?
Multitech. We keep it all connected.
And did you know Multitech made the computer I don't know the password to? And do you know how I found this out?
Are any memories coming back to you?
Stop asking me questions. Multi-company mean he could see? Well, did you know Charles Ray works for a company called Multitech?
Multitech. We keep it all connected.
And did you know Multitech made the computer I don't know the password to? And do you know how I found this out?
Are any memories coming back to you?
Stop asking me questions.
I don't believe this treatment is going to work. Whatever memory you're trying to recover may be too suppressed.
Do you think it's not working because I ain't got no face? Or is it discriminating? It's discrimination?
It doesn't have anything to do with your face or your lack of.
Well, how am I supposed to remember my password?
Password? Password to what?
Stop asking me questions. And do you know about computers?
You got electroshock therapy to jog your memory for a computer password?
Oh my God, please stop asking me
You
questions.
could have just called customer service for that shit.
Customer who?
Thank you for calling Multitech.
You docked. It doesn't have anything to do with.
Or is it discriminating? It's discrimination?
It doesn't have anything to do with your face or your lack of.
Well, how am I supposed to remember my password?
Password? Password to what?
Stop asking me questions. And do you know about computers?
You got electroshock therapy to jog your memory for a computer password?
Oh my God, please stop asking me
You
questions.
could have just called customer service for that shit.
Customer who?
Thank you for calling Multitech. Well, your customer satisfaction is our priority. Someone will be right with you in 2 days. Thank you for holding.
I can't hold that long. I ain't got no face. So after a day and a half, I hung the phone up and decided to track down the customer service worker myself. What is my password?
Well, how am I supposed to know that?
You asking me questions while I'm asking you questions?
Yeah, but it was a rhetorical question. I know
Customer service worker. So after a day and a half, I hung the phone up and decided to track down the customer service worker myself. What is my password?
Well, how am I supposed to know that?
You asking me questions while I'm asking you questions?
Yeah, but it was a rhetorical question.
Rhetorical? Why are you talking about strippers?
It's a rhetorical question. You don't know what rhetorical means?
Stop asking me questions and tell me my password.
I'm not at work right now, bro. I don't have no way to access the information.
Do you really want to be back here all night?
What am I supposed to do? Am I just supposed to start naming words?
Are you asking me another question, bro? And besides, I already did that.
Did you try to use the word password as a password?
Oh. What is it? The multiverse? Hello? I got some questions. Are they about water? Hey, don't ask me no questions. Well, if you got questions about water, I could definitely help you with that. Because, you know, every answer's about water. You think you would have more answers about water than questions I would have about water? I mean, I know a lot about water, so...
That was fucking phenomenal. Hey, don't be. Hey, just asked me another question. I'm asking the question. Why are you around? No, it's got to be more specific questions. Or just like way hootsy dootsies. You really need someone to talk to. I got a question. Why do you feel the need to ask me questions? Oh, bitch, get out the way. Get out the way, bitch, get out the way. Uh-oh, a fight's out. I'm about to knock your lights out. Something about a shutter door, shutter, bitch. Oh, turn me down. That's a rattle, bitch. Oh. What it work? It's all for the kid. These cats forgot what work is. They don't know who we be looking. They don't know who we see. First we gonna rock, then we gonna roll. They don't know who we see. First we gonna rock, then we gonna roll. Then we let it pop, don't let it go. X gon' give it to you. What? Fuck waiting for you to get it on your own. X gon' deliver to you. Knock, knock, open up the door to spill with the non-stop pop-pop stainless steel. Go hard, getting busy with it. Woo! But I got such a good heart, make a motherfucker wonder if he did it. Oh wait, I already did that lyric. I forget. Mod pack.
I know Sam does it for my.
Find some bullshit. We'll go for it.
Weird Russian weapons. For centuries, the Russian Empire, followed by the Soviet Union and the Russian Federation, had fought the Western powers for global domination. In this struggle, the act of warfare was usually the most effective tool. That was why the Russians paid great attention to their weapon production. Some of the best weapons the world has ever seen were dreamt up in Russian design bureaus. However, the Russian engineers were known to experiment here and there, and sometimes create something that could possibly give the nation an edge over their rivals. Very often, these experiments resulted in some rather unusual weapons. These are some of the weirdest Russian weapons. The PSS Silent Pistol. The PSS Silent Pistol, or the Pistolet Specjalny Samozarazny, is an unusual type of weapon. Described as going beyond being silent, the PSS is a pistol constructed entirely differently from other silent pistols. What's unique about the pistol is that it has no silencer. Instead, it uses the special SP4 noiseless ammunition. The 7.62mm by 41mm necked round SP4 ammo consists of a reinforced steel cartridge case with a powder charge and a special piston inside. The expanding gases drive the piston forward against the mild steel cylindrical bullet within the cartridge when the pistol is fired. Once the bullet leaves the cartridge, the piston seals it, leaving all gases inside. This way, the cartridge produces no sound, blast, or smoke. The PSS is designed to use the SP4 ammo only. The magazine holds 6 rounds which are fed into a chamber using a self-loading principle. Another unique feature of the pistol is that the chamber is separated from the barrel, which moves rearward along the recoiling slide. The slide has a built-in stop that slows it down in order not to create any sound. With the noiseless ammunition and the special firing mechanism, the sound generated by the pistol upon firing is quieter than a hand clap. The pistol has a relatively small range of 50 meters. However, the round is only effective at a distance of 25 meters, at which it can still penetrate a soldier's steel helmet. Because the pistol was built for use in covert operations and assassinations, the short range is not really an issue. The pistol's primary purpose is to conceal its operator's whereabouts. The pistol was produced in the famous Tula Arms plant, and it was first issued in 1983 to the KGB Spetsnaz units, and has been used by various Soviet and Russian special and secret service units ever since. The APS Underwater Rifle. Another weapon in the arsenal of the unusual Russian weapons is the APS Underwater Rifle, or the Automat Podvodny Specjalny. The APS is an AK family assault rifle especially designed for submerged use. Introduced in the mid-1970s, it was developed for underwater operations by Soviet frogmen. Up until that period, the frogmen were only armed with knives. The APS rifle allowed them to engage with their enemy from longer distances. The rifle's construction was based on a standard gas-operated mechanism that was adapted for use in underwater conditions. The barrel was smooth, and a gas tube was perforated, allowing the water to get in. Unlike standard AK assault rifles, the APS fires from an open bolt to enable the barrel to fill with water constantly. The water in the barrel was necessary to stabilize the projectile. Since using conventional rounds underwater was pointless, considering that they lose their trajectory and penetration capabilities after only 3 meters, the APS was designed to fire special 5.66mm rounds with 120mm long steel darts. The round had standard 5.66mm by 39mm cases, sealed from water and filled with special propellants for underwater conditions. The long needle-shaped rounds allowed the frogmen to shoot underwater targets at distances of 98 feet or 30 meters at a depth of 16 feet or 5 meters. However, the weapon's effective range drops with increased depth and the pressure in the water. At a depth of 131 feet, the range is almost 3 times shorter, 36 feet or 11 meters. The The rifle operates in semi and fully auto modes. It can fire outside the water, which is not recommended because it damages both the barrel and the mechanism and will diminish the rifle's service life. The rifle has a rather crude appearance and is distinctive for an unusually large magazine made from polymer that holds 26 rounds. However, despite the odd look, the APS underwater rifle is a reliable and effective underwater weapon. Apart from the former Soviet and present Russian armed forces, the gun is in use in the armies of 12 other nations. But now, let's dedicate a moment to thank our sponsor, Magellan TV. Enjoy outstanding on... Now, let's dedicate a moment to thank our sponsor, Magellan TV. Enjoy outstanding...
Well, I don't know about this video, but it's alright. It's very good. Why am I concerned about that? I need to focus on
on-demand video streaming service Magellan TV with over 3,000 documentaries, movies, and series, with many available at 4K high def. And watch their newest documentary, Digging for Britain. Watch this fantastic story about archaeological excavations of Vindolenta, a Roman auxiliary fort south of Hadrian's Wall in northern England. From an Iron Age chariot to Viking treasures, from Roman burials to World War II relics, these excavations discover remarkable collections of incredibly preserved wooden artifacts, clothing, military equipment, tools, and pottery. These latest discoveries are rewriting history. Sign up for the Magellan TV streaming service as it exemplifies the great traditions of documentary filmmaking. The quest to capture unique imagery, venture into the unknown, and tell compelling stories based on the insights of historians, scientists, and explorers. Simple History viewers can get a 1-month free trial to make sure you love what Magellan TV has to offer. Click the link in the description to try Magellan TV now. The Tsar tank. One of the most awkward Russian weapons ever was the gigantic Tsar tank. It was an armored vehicle with a pretentious name, odd appearance, and almost no positive features. The Tsar tank was not even a tank in terms of the standard tank concept. Instead, it was a huge gun carriage with an armored turret on top. At the time, Western countries were developing armored vehicles with caterpillar tracks. The Russians got an idea to build a vehicle with wheels so large that it could handle any kind of terrain or obstacle. The result was the Tsar tank at 17.8 meters long, 9 meters high, and 12 meters wide. The gun carriage-looking vehicle had spiked wheels that were 9 meters in diameter. On top of the carriage, there were 4 turrets: the central turret, belly turret, and 2 flank turrets. The turrets on the side were armed with 2 76.2mm guns, while the turrets in the middle were equipped with 8 to 10 Maxim 7.62mm machine guns. The vehicle not only looked awkward, but also had a large amount of weak points. One of the most important was the vulnerability of the spiked wheels, and their size interfered with the gun's shooting trajectories. The tank would have probably never reached the trial stage if Tsar Nicholas II Romanov hadn't been so delighted with the scale model of the tank he was presented with. However, when the tank was brought out for a test run in front of a group of army dignitaries, it was a huge disappointment. The 60-ton tank got stuck in the mud. Its tiny rear wheels and the poor weight distribution made it bogged down in the rough and muddy soil, which was so typical of the landmass of Russia. The long-awaited wonder weapon that was to have given the Russian forces an advantage on the battlefield ended up on the scrap heap in 1923. The Antonov A-40 flying tank. Tanks evolved a lot between the 2 world wars, especially their tactical deployment. By the time World War II started, military strategists had been thinking about various methods of how they could be delivered to the battlefield. One idea was by dropping them in from the air. The Soviets, along with other countries, had their own development program for airborne tanks. They conducted a couple of experiments for this purpose, of which the most interesting was the tank glider design. Behind this idea was the legendary Soviet airplane designer Oleg Antonov. He envisioned delivering light tanks to battlefields or even behind enemy lines by attaching wings to them. The T-60 light scout tank was adopted for this purpose. Antonov fitted it with a detachable cradle bearing large biplane wings made of wood and fabric with a twin tail. The wings were pretty large, with a wingspan of 18 meters. In essence, this was a glider with a tank in the front instead of a cockpit. Even though it was an interesting concept, it proved to be unworkable, which became evident during the trials on September 2, 1942, when a TB-3 bomber towed the A-40 flying tank. To function properly, the bomber had to tow the glider at a speed of 100 miles per hour, or 160 kilometers per hour. Considering the weight of the T-60 tank, this was virtually impossible. Nevertheless, the bomber managed to get the A-40 airborne, but had a lot of trouble towing it. In the end, the bomber pilot had to release the A-40. Surprisingly, the tank glided smoothly down to Earth and landed in a field not far from the airport, from where it was driven back to the base. However, the project was abandoned after the first trial, primarily for the towing problems. Apart from that, the concept had other issues. The tank had to be stripped of ammunition and some fuel to make it lighter. These things were dropped separately, which meant a delay in combat deployment until the crew located all their ammo and fuel. Another essential drawback was that by 1942, the T-60 was already an obsolete tank with weak armor and an even weaker armament. After only one trial, the development of the A-40 was abandoned, as due to the ongoing war, the Soviets had no time to waste on unfeasible projects. The Tu-2SH Fiery Hedgehog. The number of various weapon experiments during World War II was astonishing. Belligerents were doing their best to gain the upper hand in the war, and the Soviets were no exception. As the war progressed, the Red Army was slowly taking the initiative on the Eastern Front. By 1944, their armored units were in full swing, and their Air Force had established supremacy in the air. One of the aircraft that played a key role in the Red Army's success was the Tupolev Tu-2. Even though it was designed as a dive bomber, the Tu-2 often provided fire support to infantry units on the ground, with its two 20mm Shivak cannons and three 12.7mm Berenson UB machine guns. In 1944, an idea was developed by the Tupolev Design Bureau to create a new version of the Tu-2 aircraft for its infantry support role. This version was named the Tu-2SH and was also known as the Fiery Hedgehog, and had a weapon battery cassette installed in the bomb bay containing 88 PPSH-41 submachine guns. Arranged in 11 rows, each with 8 guns, every PPSH gun had a standard 71-round drum magazine fitted. With the PPSH's astounding rate of fire of 1,250 rounds per minute, the Tu-2SH could deliver 6,248 steel-cored incendiary rounds in less than 4 seconds. The area covered by this fire was 550 meters long by 1.2 meters wide, so it would have been perfect for attacking supply columns on the road or railway trains. Unfortunately, as the guns were firing all those rounds, they were also spewing out an equal number of empty shell cases, which could fly into and damage the engines. Even though it provided some impressive firepower, the Tu-2SH had several limitations that prevented it from entering service. The combined battery of submachine guns would expend its total capacity of ammunition in such a short amount of time that it took 100 man-hours to reload it when the plane landed, because every drum magazine had to be detached from its gun and reloaded with ammunition by hand. Apart from that, the effective range of the PPSH-41 required the Tu-2SH pilot to fly at altitudes of less than 244 meters. At this height, the aircraft was vulnerable to enemy anti-aircraft and small arms fire. Finally, it was estimated that small-caliber cluster bombs had a more devastating effect against enemy troops, including armored targets. The Fiery Hedgehog, therefore, remained just another exciting experiment. The Rata Mega Tank. In the years leading up to World War II, Nazi Germany conducted a vast number of projects with the aim of developing new types of weapons that would bring them military supremacy over other nations. The majority of these designs, as true innovations in the field of weapons design, were ahead of their time. The Germans called them Wunderwaffen, which translates to wonder weapons or miracle weapons. Some of these were successfully deployed to battlefields, while some progressed no further than the drawing board. Many projects resulted in magnificent machines of war, but many others turned out to be complete failures. The idea of building the largest tank in the history of warfare belonged to the batch of Hitler's wonder weapons. Hitler's army mainly fought on land, and they wanted a tank that would make these land battles easier to win. The main feature of this new tank, its enormous size, surpassed everything made up to that point. In comparison, even the heaviest of tanks would have seemed like toys. Like all dictators of his time, Adolf Hitler was in love with weapons that could show off his military strength. When Hitler was at the peak of his power in 1942, he was presented with an idea to build the largest tank ever devised, designed by Edward Grotte, a director of the famous Krupp Company. Hitler was thrilled. The way he saw it, the tank's hair-raising appearance perfectly matched the image of the German army that he wanted to build. At the time, Porsche had started constructing a 188 metric ton heavy tank called the Maus, which was supposed to be the mighty bellwether of the German panzers. The Maus, however, was nothing compared to its bigger cousin, named the Ratte, or the Rat. The Ratte was part of a land battleships concept that was in research from the 1930s. The pioneering nation in this research was the Soviet Union, with a project known as the TG-5. Their idea was to build a multi-engine driven tank weighing 1,000 metric tons and armed with a 107mm main gun and 4 sub-turrets. One of the engineers working on the project was Edward Grotte. Upon his return to Germany, Grotte brought his own ideas on building a giant tank. He started working as a director of the Krupp Company, and in June 1942 he was given the opportunity to present his ideas to Hitler himself. The Führer showed great enthusiasm for the project and ordered further design studies. Grotte responded with a series of drawings as a base for the future project designated the Landcruiser P-1000 Ratte, or Landcruiser P-1000 the Rat. Edward Grotte outlined the weight of the Ratte tank to be a staggering 1,000 metric tons. It was an enormous weight compared to any other tank at that time. The latest German tank coming out of the factories, the Tiger I, was only 54 tons. The Ratte's armament set alone weighed 300 tons. The armor and frame weighed 200 tons, its track and propulsion engines 100 tons, and the rest was the weight of its ammunition and other miscellaneous parts. The thickness of the armor varied from 5.9 to 14.2 inches, or 150 to 360 millimeters. The mammoth weight of the tank was followed by its huge dimensions. The Ratte was projected to be 115 feet or 35 meters long and 46 feet or 14 meters wide. With its gun facing forward, it became 128 feet or 39 meters in length. The height of the tank was 36 feet or 11 meters, which was proportionate to a 3-story building. The Ratte was so huge that it even had its own lavatory system and a vehicle bay to hold 2 BMW R12 motorcycles, while it was projected to have a crew of 41 men. The dimensions and weight of the tank necessitated it to have very wide tracks to provide the proper distribution of pressure on the ground. The Ratte was designed to have 6 tracks, each one 3.9 feet or 1.2 meters wide, 3 on each side of the chassis. Setting a 1,000-ton monster into motion would have been a challenging task, as it would have required about 12,000 kilowatts or 16,000 horsepower to move the tank. The first choice of propulsion was 2 MAN V12 Z3244 24-cylinder diesel engines of 6,300 kilowatts or 8,400 horsepower, which were similar to those already in use by German U-boats. The alternative was to use 8 Daimler-Benz MB501 20-cylinder diesel engines of 1,500 kilowatts or 2,000 horsepower. These engines were used on German E-boats. Both of these solutions were projected to provide a top speed of 25 miles per hour or 40 kilometers an hour. In reality, it would have been unlikely for the tank to achieve that speed due to the likely suspension and transmission problems. The intended armament of the tank was equally as impressive as its appearance. The Ratte was equipped with several types of guns, 2 of which were the main 28-centimeter SK-C-34 naval guns. These guns were developed in the 1930s to be used on Schornhorst-class battleships. Needless to say, they were extremely powerful. At a distance of 3 miles, the guns were capable of penetrating armor up to 17.7 inches thick. At a maximum elevation of 40 degrees, their range was an incredible 25.6 miles. As an extra gun, the Rata was armed with a KWK-44 L55 anti-tank gun. There are no records indicating whether this gun was planned to be positioned at the front with the main guns or on a separate turret on the opposite side of the tank. Other armaments included an unknown number of 20mm anti-aircraft guns and 15mm autocannons normally used on German aircraft. The frightening size of the Rata was the feature on which the entire project was based. Paradoxically, this was the project's main drawback. First of all, there was no tank factory in Germany large enough to be capable of assembling such a huge vehicle armed with naval guns. For that reason, a shipbuilding yard would have been required. Just building a prototype tank would have taken several months, using much of the yard's resources and space. This was a luxury the Germans could not afford at the time. Even if the tank was built, putting it into action would have been a logistical nightmare. Because of its massive weight of 1,000 tons, the Rata could not have been transferred to battlefields by railway. Using its own propulsion at a speed lower than 25 miles per hour, the Rata would have taken an eternity to arrive at the front. If it broke down along the way, it would have been impossible to tow, as it would have taken another tank of the same size to accomplish the task. Also, because of its weight, the Rata could not have used roads or bridges without destroying them. The only favorable characteristic was the tank's high ground clearance of 6 feet that would have allowed it to simply cross through a river. In the end, the Rata might have been considered a mighty tank, but it also would have been a remarkably easy target. The Rata's thick armor might have been a challenge for the Allied tanks, but not for the Allied bombers. Despite the heavy armor, it could not have withstood bombardments from the air. Being a gigantic and slow vehicle would have made it a perfect target for aerial attacks. The Rata was a huge, powerful, but ultimately impractical weapon. When the idea of building the tank appeared in 1942, the German industry was already overexerted by the war effort. Spending valuable time and resources on building the largest tank in the world would have impeded that same effort for no significant results. That's why the Minister of Armaments, Albert Speer, canceled the project in early 1943 before it even entered the production phase. The Rata remained just another of Hitler's great fantasies. As German General Heinz Guderian wrote in his autobiography, Hitler's fantasy led him into the realm of the gigantic. The Schwere Gustav, Rail Supergun, World War II. The Schwere Gustav was the largest artillery gun ever made. Before the Second World War had started, Hitler required a devastating weapon for the invasion of France that could destroy the Maginot Line, penetrating its several layers of concrete and steel. The Schwere Gustav was designed in 1934 by the German arms manufacturer Krupp. This giant railway gun weighed 1,350 tons and had an overall length of 47.3 meters, or 155 feet 2 inches. It was mounted on a railway chassis running on specially constructed tracks and had to be disassembled and assembled to set up. Even a set of outer tracks were required for the cranes to achieve this. Its barrel length was 32.5 meters, or 106 feet 8 inches. And could only move up or down at an elevation of 48 degrees, with horizontal targeting achieved via curved tracks. The weapon caliber was 80 centimeters, or 31 inches, and the heavy concrete-piercing or high-explosive shells weighed 7 tons, making them the largest and heaviest shells of any artillery piece in the world. The gun could fire over a range of 47 kilometers, or 29 miles. After a number of shells were fired, the barrel would wear away and need replacing. The artillery gun required a staggering number of crew. 250 crewmen were required to assemble the gun, which took 3.5 days, while 2,500 crewmen were needed to lay the tracks. Flak battalions were also a necessity to protect the gun from air attacks, as it was highly visible due to its size. The Schwere Gustav would be constructed throughout the 30s, but it would not enter service until 1941, therefore missing the French invasion. The gun would be transported to the Eastern Front and used at the siege of Sevastopol, where 4,000 men were required to set it up in position. It fired 300 shells at several enemy positions, including Soviet fortresses and ammunition magazines. After this, the Schwere Gustav was transported to Leningrad, but the attack was canceled. It is unknown whether there was a second gun constructed, or whether it was a nickname by the German artillery crew, but in 1942, Dora, as it became known, was operational at Stalingrad, but withdrawn by the Germans. During 1942, the Germans proposed to construct a new version of the gun, mounted on a self-propelled platform that could move without railway tracks, called the Landcruiser P-1500 Monster. However, the idea was eventually scrapped. As the war was coming to an end, the Schwerer Gustav, some sources say, was destroyed by the Germans to prevent capture on the 14th of April 1945 and its ruins studied by Soviet specialists. Overall, the Schwerer Gustav was quite an impractical weapon, demanding a large number of crew and setup to become operational. Yamato, super battleship. Largest battleship in history. World War II. Design. The Yamato class of battleships were the pride of the Imperial Japanese Navy during the Second World War. This class were the heaviest battleships ever built. The Yamato-class battleships were not only the biggest of their kind, but were also the most powerful, with the largest amount of artillery mounted on a ship. The intention behind the design was to counter the numerical supremacy of the American Pacific Fleet. Since they didn't have the economic or industrial capacities to build a large quantity of ships, the Japanese decided to build larger battleships that could respond to numerous enemy ships at once. The Imperial Japanese Navy required a super heavy battleship that would be armed with 18.1-inch guns, and armor that could withstand the impact of 18-inch shells. Furthermore, the ship had to have a top speed of 27 knots and a cruising range of 8,000 miles at a speed of 18 knots. After these requirements were received, the designers commenced development in 1935. After the initial plans were made, it was decided that the ship needed a displacement of 69,000 tons. The dimensions of the battleship were more than impressive. The overall length of the ship was 839 feet, with a beam width of 127.7 feet. The protection of the Yamato was equally impressive. The total weight of the armor was 22,534 tons, which was 1/3 of the entire displacement. The thickness of the armor varied from 8 inches to 16 inches depending on the section. The deck armor was between 7.9 and 9.1 inches, while the gun turrets were protected with armor ranging from 9.5 to 26 inches. This armor was supposed to protect the Yamato from all Allied naval weapons. The Yamato class of battleships were powered by 4 steam engines, with 12 boilers and a total power of 150,000 shaft horsepower. Even at maximum speed, the Yamato had great maneuverability. Ships in the Yamato class. The Imperial Japanese Navy ordered 2 battleships of the Yamato class in 1936. The first one, Yamato, was built in the Kure shipyards, and the second, Musashi, in the Mitsubishi shipyard in Nagasaki. Both shipyards had to be modified to handle the building of these enormous ships. The production of the ships were kept a secret, so large fences and canvas were placed around the docks to secure it from spies. As well as this, if a worker mentioned the project, they may have faced death. The Navy ordered 2 more battleships in 1939. The building of the first one, named Shinano, commenced production, but after the Battle of Midway it was decided that it would be converted into an aircraft carrier. The last one, unofficially named No. 111, was never finished. Armament. The armament of the Yamato battleships was in accordance with the scale of the ship and its purpose. The primary armament consisted of 3 triple turrets with Type 94 46-centimeter guns. These 69.4-foot-long guns could fire a 3,219-pound projectile at a distance of 26.1 miles, with a rate of fire of 1.5 projectiles per minute. These were the largest and most powerful guns ever put on a ship. The entire weight of one turret was 2,774 tons, which equaled the weight of a fleet destroyer. The secondary armament consisted of 4 triple turrets with 155mm guns. The anti-aircraft armament consisted of 6 twin-mounted Type 89 127mm guns mounted on the side of the ship above the 155mm guns. Additionally, the Yamato had 8 triple-mounted Type 96 25mm guns and 4 Type 93 13mm guns on the bridge tower. The Yamato even had a hangar below deck for storing 3 to 4 aircraft that were launched with 2 catapults. As the war progressed, the Yamato armament was modified with some guns removed and some added. The first modification came in July 1943, when radars were fitted to upgrade the ship's anti-aircraft defense. At the same time, an additional 4 triple 25mm guns were added to the weather deck. The second modification came in February 1944, when 2 155mm side guns were removed, as they were of no use for anti-aircraft defense. These were replaced with an additional 6 twin-mounted Type 89 127mm guns. The anti-aircraft defense was reinforced with 55 25mm guns, some of which were triple-mounted and some single-mounted. The final modification in November 1944, after the Battle of Leyte Gulf, saw almost all single-mounted 25mm guns replaced with triple-mounted guns, and 27 new 25mm guns. After this, the Yamato had 152 25mm guns in its armament. Fate. Even though Japan invested much of their capacities in building the Yamato-class battleships, their use during the war was underwhelming. The Japanese built the battleships to confront other ships on the sea, failing to foresee the development of aircraft as the most powerful weapon in the war. It could be said that Yamato was already obsolete by the time it was built. Battle of Midway. Both battleships of the class saw little action during the war. The Yamato was commissioned on December 15, 1941, and it was assumed as the flagship of the Japanese combined fleet. During the Battle of Midway, Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto commanded its fleet from the Yamato's bridge. As the battle ended up disastrously for the Imperial Japanese Navy, the Yamato was withdrawn to Japan, where it served as a headquarters ship, missing the Battle of Guadalcanal. Due to the frequent and long periods of inactivity, it was nicknamed the Hotel Yamato. The Musashi took over the duty of flagship of the combined fleet on January 22, 1943, but it also saw little action. Both ships were used at the time as transport ships, as they could carry a large amount of troops. During these operations, both ships were being hit by U.S. submarines, forcing them to spend long periods of time in the truck shipyards for repairs. The Battle of Leyte Gulf. The first big action for both ships came during the Battle of Leyte Gulf, the largest naval battle of the war. On October 24, 1944, U.S. forces launched a massive air attack on the Japanese fleet. They concentrated their fire on Musashi, which couldn't withstand the amount of bombs and torpedoes launched at it. By the end of the day, it was sunk. On the following day, the Yamato used its 46cm guns for the first and only time during the war, hitting an American carrier at a distance of 20 miles. During the battle, the Yamato suffered several bomb hits, but was not put in great danger. However, because of the danger of torpedo strikes, it was forced to leave the battle. Suicide Mission. Operation Tengo. The final engagement of the Yamato was connected to the Allied invasion of Okinawa, which prompted the Japanese Navy to commence Operation Tengo, sending the entire fleet to confront the U.S. Navy that was supporting the invasion. On April 6, 1945, the Yamato, with full magazines, sortied with 1 light cruiser and 8 destroyers on a suicide mission. American codebreakers found out about the Japanese plans, so the U.S. Navy was prepared for the action that would follow. On April 7, a convoy of 10 ships, led by the Yamato, was attacked by 400 American airplanes. The Yamato withstood the bombs hitting its deck, but 11 torpedoes that hit the port side were more than it could take. After it rolled over to port, its aft magazines exploded, taking the Yamato to the bottom of the sea. 3,063 sailors were killed, and only 269 were saved. The sinking of the battleship Yamato marked the end of the Japanese Imperial Navy.
First World War tech. Zeppelins. When a German aristocrat, Brigadier General Ferdinand Zeppelin, retired from the army in 1891, he devoted himself to the study of aeronautics. His proposals to the government for a lighter-than-air flying machine were rejected in 1894, but nevertheless, he would invest all his money into a company producing airships. By 1898, Zeppelin had constructed his first airship. The foundation of the airship were in its hydrogen-filled gas bags, carried inside a steel skeleton. It weighed 12 tons and contained 400,000 cubic feet of hydrogen and was driven by propellers connected to a pair of 15-horsepower Daimler engines. When the Zeppelin LZ made its flight on July 2, 1900, the German government decided to fund the project. In March 1909, the German Army purchased the Zeppelin Z1. These Zeppelins could reach a maximum speed of 136 kilometers per hour. and reach a height of 4,250 meters. They were armed with 5 machine guns and could carry 2,000 kilograms or 4,400 pounds of bombs. At the start of the war, Zeppelins were used in bombing raids. A Zeppelin was used to bomb Liège in Belgium on 6 August 1914, but had to make an emergency landing after encountering Belgian artillery fire. Over the next few weeks, 3 more Zeppelins were destroyed by ground forces. While the Zeppelins were an easy target to hit, the Germans continued to use them for attacks on France. In January 1915, 2 Zeppelin naval airships flew over the English coast, bombing Great Yarmouth and King's Lynn. Zeppelins would commence a bombing raid on London on May 31, 1915, killing 28 people and injuring 60 more. Zeppelins were used at the Battle of Verdun in 1916, with 4 being brought down by ground fire, bringing an end to their use on the Western Front. They continued to be used to attack the British home front, but British fighter pilots and anti-aircraft gunners became efficient at taking them down. 115 Zeppelins were used by the German military, with 77 destroyed or damaged beyond repair. After the war, Zeppelins were used for civilian transport. Maus tank, super heavy tank. The Panzerkampfwagen 8 Maus was a super heavy tank designed by the German forces during the Second World War. This was the heaviest tank ever built in human history. By the end of 1944, only 2 prototypes were completed, so the Maus never actually saw action in battle. The development of this super tank was primarily connected with Hitler's obsession to surpass the Allies in developing heavy tanks, especially the Soviets. The task of designing a tank bigger and more powerful than any other was given to the leading German tank constructor, Ferdinand Porsche. In June 1942, Porsche presented Hitler with the idea of the VK100.01 Type 205 tank, which the Führer approved. This tank was to be 150 tons and was intended to use either a 150mm or a 128mm gun, with an additional 75mm gun and an MG-34 machine gun. The production of the tank hull, turret, and armament was assigned to Krupp, while the assembly was to be constructed in the Alket factory. At the time, the project was officially named the Mammoth, but it was eventually changed to Maus, or Maus. On May 1, 1943, Hitler was presented with a wooden mock-up of the future tank. As he was pleased with what he saw, he ordered a run of 150 Maus tanks for production. Although he ordered the version with the 128mm gun and coaxial 75mm gun, he wanted future models to be armed with the more powerful 150mm gun. The outcome of the final blueprints were 10.1 meters or 33.13 feet long, 3.67 meters or 12 feet wide, and 3.63 meters or 11.9 feet high, and it weighed almost 190 tons. The crew was to consist of 6 men, a commander, gunner, 2 loaders, a driver, and a radio operator. The Maus's armor was very impressive. The turret had a thickness of 220mm or 8.7 inches at the front, and 200mm or 7.9 inches thick on its sides and rear. The hull thickness was 200mm or 7.9 inches at the front, and 180 or 7.1 inches on the side. The armament of the tank was equally impressive. The main armament was the 128mm KWK-44 gun. With such a gun, the Maus would be capable of eliminating almost any Allied tank within the range of 3,500 meters. The secondary coaxial armament was the 75mm KWK-44 gun. In addition, the turret was equipped with a 7.92mm MG-34 machine gun for close combat. Such a heavy tank demanded a powerful engine to move it. Porsche's intention was to use the petrol-electric drive they had used before on their version of the Tiger tank. The petrol engine would operate the electric generator that drove the 24 wheels that each track had. The projected speed of the tank with such an engine was 20 kilometers per hour, or 12 miles per hour. The engine system was so huge that it took 2/3 of the entire hull and caused the turret to be put at the rear end. With this design, the driver and radio operator seated in the hull were completely cut off from the turret crew. The Maus's tracks were proportional to the overall size of the tank in order to give it good mobility. They were 1.1 meters wide or 3.6 feet, and they were supported by a suspension system on each of the wheels. As the size of the tank was its prime feature, it was also its greatest drawback. With a staggering total weight of 188 tons, its mobility was under great question, and that was the main reason why German commanders were not fond of the concept. With a low speed and a high silhouette, the Maus tank was a big target, especially for the Air Force. The drawbacks of the entire Maus concept seem to have been obvious to the HWA, the German weapons agency, who protested against the Maus, stating that it didn't need such a tank, and they just couldn't formulate a tactical plan for it. With such limited mobility, the Maus couldn't serve as a tank hunter, but it could work as a mobile fortress. Ultimately, the Army canceled the order for 150 Maus tanks in October 1943. In the next month, Hitler ordered the development of the Maus to be ceased, and he believed resources could be better used for other projects. Authorities, however, allowed Porsche to continue building their prototypes. The first prototype, the V1, was produced in December 1943. Although it had no turret, it was equipped with a dummy turret to simulate the weight for tests. The V1 had a 1,080 horsepower Daimler-Benz MB509 V12 gasoline engine, which produced a speed of only 13 kilometers per hour or 8 miles per hour. Tests showed that the weight of the tank proved to be a great obstacle. Constructors also realized that the weight of 188 tons meant that there was no bridge in Europe that the Maus could cross without destroying it. To overcome this problem, the V1 was equipped with a huge snorkel that allowed it to be submerged to the depth of 8 meters in order to cross rivers. The second prototype, the V2, came in mid-1944 and was substantially different from the V1. This version had a real turret installed. The engine was replaced with a 1,200 horsepower Daimler-Benz MB517 diesel engine. The V2 had an advanced electric steering system and a new Skoda gear system. All these elements, however, showed only slight improvements. Prototype tests were being performed at Kummersdorf, near the Böblingen Porsche proving grounds. Tests were marked by frequent engine failures and production delays caused by Allied bombings. Finally, in August 1944, Krupp was ordered to cancel the production of the Maus hulls and to scrap the ones already produced. This was the official end of the Maus tank project. When the Red Army units approached the Kummersdorf testing grounds in April 1945, the Germans managed to destroy the V2 prototype. The Soviets then took the V1 hull and mounted the V2 turret on top of it in order to conduct tests of their own. Today, this tank stands exhibited at the Kubinka Tank Museum. World War II tech, the Tiger I Panzer VI heavy tank. The legendary German Tiger I has a reputation as a machine feared by the Allies, combining lethal firepower and excellent armor. The need to replace the Panzer IV goes back to 1938, when several prototypes were built. In 1941, an order was placed with Henschel for the VK36.01 with a specification of good armor protection, a powerful gun, and a maximum speed of 40 kilometers per hour or 25 miles an hour. The tank had to be larger, and an order was placed in May 1941 for a 45-ton tank called the VK4501. It was armed with an 8.8 centimeter gun. The deadline for the prototype would be on Hitler's next birthday, April 20th, 1942, forcing several elements of the design to be rushed. Once completed, it would be named the VK4501H, the H standing for Henschel. In competition, Porsche had created its own design, the VK4501P, to the same requirements. With both designs meeting the deadline of Hitler's birthday, the Henschel design was selected for production. Designated as the Panzerkampfwagen Tiger Aus E, but eventually, the final design would use a mixture of the parts from previous prototypes by Henschel and Porsche. The Krupp turret and gun would stay the same. The crew of the Tiger tank numbered 5, including the commander, gunner, loader, who sat in the turret, and the driver and radio operator in the hull. The armor was very thick, from 25 to 120 millimeters, offering excellent protection. For traveling on cross-country or preparing for combat, wider tracks were fitted, improving traction. From 1943, the 55-ton tank was powered by a V12 Maybach HL230 P45 gasoline engine, providing 690 horsepower or 515 kilowatts. This was quite underpowered, and the tank had a top speed of 38 kilometers per hour or 24 miles per hour. One over-engineering problem with the tank was the overlapping wheel suspension, which became clogged with mud, and on the Eastern Front, This was especially dangerous as the mud froze, completely immobilizing the tank. The armament of the Tiger I was its deadly 88mm KWK-36 gun, capable of penetrating American M4 Sherman armor, and 2 MG-34 or MG-42 machine guns, one coaxial in the mantlet and the other in a ball turret within the hull. Smoke discharge canisters were also positioned on both sides of the turret. The Tiger I first appeared in Tunisia, North Africa in late 1942, their appearance shocking the British forces. They were used on all fronts, including Italy, Normandy, and the Eastern Front. It was only until mid-1944 that the Allies could produce tanks that could effectively engage the Tiger tank, such as the British Sherman Firefly and the Russian T-34/85. Only 1,350 Tiger Is were built, with production between August 1942 and August 1944. Other rare variants include the Befehlspanzer Tiger, which was a command tank, and the Sturmtiger, which featured a large self-propelled mortar. The Char 2C Super Heavy Tank. The Char 2C was designed during the latter half of the First World War in an effort to break the stalemate of trench warfare. French General Muret, Sub-Secretary of Artillery, granted the FCM shipyard a contract to develop a heavy tank, or Char d'assaut de grand modèle, meaning Great Model Assault Tank. Although the FCM received payment for the development of the heavy tank, they failed to start basic development. Actual development would not begin until September 1916, when public interest in French tank designs rose after British Mark Is were revealed at the Battle of the Somme. When General Muret discovered the FCM had neglected the project, he took personal control over development. General Muret would come into conflict with Brigadier Estienne, who was developing the FT-17 light tank with Renault, and thought that his heavy tank would use up resources that could be used on his project. Estienne would go to General Joffre himself to get the heavy tank project cancelled. After the first action of a new light tank, the Schneider CA, was a disaster, Albert Thomas, Minister of Armament, cancelled all tank projects. This caused Estienne and Muret to work together, eventually getting Thomas to retract his decision. On November 17th, the first prototype of the FCM-1A was ready. General Pétain would order 300 FCM-1As. However, in 1919, with the war over, the order was cancelled and later replaced with an order for 10 Char FCM-2Cs. 30, 40, and 62-ton weight class variants were intended for the Char 2C. However, the end of the armistice prevented the production of these models. In post-war France, the 62-ton weight version was produced in 1921, with 10 examples in service. The Char 2C was 10.3 meters long, 3 meters wide, and 4.1 meters tall, or 33.7 feet long, 9.8 feet wide, and 13.4 feet tall. The armor was 45 millimeters or 1.8 inches thick at the front, 22 millimeters or 0.86 inches thick on the sides, and 6 millimeters or 0.24 inches thick on the rear, some of the thickest for a World War I era tank, but thin by World War II standards. It was powered with 2 Maybach diesel engines, the same type that had been used on German Zeppelins during World War I, which gave it a maximum speed of 15 kilometers or 9.3 miles per hour. The tanks were also equipped with trench-crossing tails, due to the misconception that the war was going to, once again, break down into trench warfare. The armament for the Char 2C was a quick-fire, high-velocity 75mm gun located in a 3-man turret at the front, and 4 8mm Hotchkiss machine guns, one in the front, one on each side, and one at the back in the rear turret. The supertank housed a crew of 12, the commander, driver, gunner, loader, radio operator, mechanic, his assistant, an electrician, and the 4 machine gunners. Although obsolete by 1935 due to their low speed and high profile, all 10 Char 2Cs were reactivated and put into service as the 51st Battalion Char de Combat in 1939 to serve as a propaganda device in movies, encouraging many people to look at them as invincible super tanks and helping boost morale in the early stages of World War II. Each tank had been named after one of the ancient regions of France. Numbers 90 through 99 named Poitou, Provence, Picardie, Alsace, Bretagne, Touraine, Anjou, Normandy, Berry, and Champagne. Instead of using them to defend against the German offensive in 1940, the French command ordered them to be shipped to the south of France by rail. However, some of the tanks had broken down and were put out of service. The others that were shipped to southern France by rail were destroyed, instead of allowing the Germans to capture them when a burning fuel train blocked the railway. Number 99, nicknamed Champagne, failed to detonate and the Germans captured it, taking it back to Berlin as a war trophy. It disappeared in 1945 after the fall of Berlin to the Soviets, and it is suspected that it was scrapped. The Maginot Line, French defensive fortifications, World War II. The Maginot Line was a defensive series of fortifications along the French borders with Italy, Switzerland, Germany, and Luxembourg. The main purpose of the Maginot Line, named after French Minister of War André Maginot, was to deter German invasion. It would serve other purposes based off the experience of the First World War. It would save French manpower, becoming a substitute for a reduced army, as France had a shortage of young men for the armed forces. It would also hinder the German army if they attacked, giving time to mobilize the main bulk of the French army. By the time the Maginot Line had been constructed, it had cost 3 billion francs. The fortifications were built throughout the interwar years of the 1930s and were state-of-the-art, a marvel of military engineering. It was not a continuous line as the name implies, but a series of fortifications along the border. The main fortresses were manned by 500 to 1,000 men. They were built of thick concrete, and they had several stories, heavy artillery within retractable armored turrets, and air filtration systems to prevent gas from entering. Inside, there was everything needed to provide adequate living. Recreation areas, kitchens, hospitals, living quarters, supply storehouses, and underground trains on rail lines to move ammunition. Smaller fortresses of around 100 to 200 men also made up the line, covering the small bunkers of 20 to 30 men armed with machine guns. In front of these defenses, on the border, were anti-tank ditches and obstacles, barbed wire, mines, and blockhouses disguised as residential homes that French troops could raise the alarm from if there was an enemy attack. Unfortunately, the French did not prepare for the blitzkrieg tactics of the German forces or their invasion through neutral Belgium, which allowed them to simply outflank the Maginot Line in 1940. Where the Germans did attack the Maginot Line, it did serve its purpose well, and the 400,000 French troops who formed the garrison held up a strong defense. However, these troops could have been used for the main battle within France.
Ice Carrier, Project Habakkuk, secret weapon of World War II. During the early 1940s, German U-boats were sinking Allied ships delivering vital supplies from the United States to Britain in the Atlantic Ocean. An inventor called Jeffrey Pike, working under the Combined Operations Headquarters, came up with the concept of a floating, unsinkable platform to launch aircraft from to defend these convoys. His solution was an indestructible aircraft carrier made from ice. While it sounded too far-fetched to become a reality, Winston Churchill enthusiastically approved the idea. Pike identified ice as the material because of shortages in steel and aluminium. It would also take less energy to manufacture. He drew up plans for the Berg ship. The iceberg would be leveled to provide a runway and a bridge. It would then be hollowed out inside to shelter up to 150 aircraft, fuel tanks, and living accommodation. It would be powered by an electric generator driving 20 propellers. The sheer scale of the vehicle and the thickness of its ice hull, at 40 feet or 12 meters thick, would make it unsinkable. In 1943, a scale model prototype measuring 60 by 30 feet or 18 meters by 9 meters and weighing 1,000 tons was constructed to test the concept at Patricia Lake, Alberta, Canada, where the climate was suitable. The prototype, powered by a single horsepower motor, worked, surviving throughout winter and summer. However, ice as a building material could be brittle. So, Pikecrete, named after Jeffrey Pike, was developed, which was a mixture of 14% wood pulp and 86% ice. This made it easy to work with, and it melted slower and was a stronger material. Winston Churchill, excited by the results of the prototype, ordered a full-scale ice ship to be constructed named Habakkuk, and the Canadians confidently planned to make this happen by 1944. The project was eventually abandoned due to several reasons: rising costs and material demands on the war effort, its slow speed of just 6 knots, and the fact that Portugal had also given permission to use airfields in the Azores, a group of islands in the Atlantic. But overall, the idea was perhaps just too far-fetched. First World War tech, dreadnoughts. British Admiral John Fisher, First Sea Lord, was the driving force behind the dreadnought, a new type of warship that made all previous ships redundant. HMS Dreadnought was a revolutionary design and the first of its kind when it launched. Completed in 1906, the Dreadnought was heavily armed, with 10 powerful 12-inch or 305mm caliber guns capable of firing accurately at long distances. Previously, the Royal Navy had battleships armed with just 4 12-inch guns, and Germany's equivalent had 4 11-inch guns. The Dreadnoughts were much larger in appearance than their predecessors, due to the extra weight of the big guns and its armor plates. Yet its speed was superior, reaching a top speed of 22 knots. It was also the first major warship to be driven solely by steam turbines. The appearance of the Dreadnought sparked a naval arms race between Britain and Germany. Soon they would be competing to build more Dreadnoughts, and by 1914 the Royal Navy had 29 Dreadnoughts, while the Imperial German Navy had completed 17. During the First World War, naval engagements were rare, which was the opposite of what was predicted based on a recent event in naval history, the Battle of Tsushima, during the Russo-Japanese War of 1905. The Battle of Jutland in 1916 was the only major example, and even then sinkings were few and far between. Later in the war, a new type of dreadnought would come about, called the Super Dreadnought. The first of these, the Queen Elizabeth class, demonstrated superior firepower, protection, and speed.
Flamethrower operator, World War I. The stalemate of trench warfare demanded new tactics and therefore new weapons. One such weapon was the flamethrower, which was first introduced by the Germans onto the battlefields of the First World War. Modern flamethrowers were invented by Richard Fiedler and Bernhard Redenmann, who worked independently, then collaborated on its design, even creating the tactics for their use on the front. After the first trials, German headquarters adopted the new weapon and deployed it to the pioneer units. The training of new recruits was entrusted to Captain Redenmann, who was picking firefighters from all over Germany for the new unit. Firemen were the best choice for flamethrower operators as they had experience with fire and, more importantly, were not afraid of the enormous blazes that flamethrowers were capable of. Flamethrower operators were equipped with 2 types of flamethrowers. A heavier version, called the Grosse Flammenwerfer, popularly known as the Grove, was cumbersome and was used in static positions within trenches. It was very powerful as it could burn for 40 seconds and could hit the target at 36 meters or 40 yards distance. Smaller portable flamethrowers, such as the Kleinflammenwerfer, also known as the Kleif, or the donut-shaped Vex, were intended for mobile use in assaulting enemy trenches. They had far less fuel capacity and could be used for only a short duration. Kleifs were carried on the back of one team member, while another operated the tube to fire it to attack enemy positions. While there had been minor engagements in 1914, a small number of flamethrower operators, as part of the Flammenwerfer Abteilung under Redemann's command, had their baptism of fire during the assault on the forest of Malancourt, north of Verdun, on February 26, 1915. This attack was a success, as the French defenders were not only surprised by the attack, but were terrified by the fire brought upon them and the thick black clouds that they produced. Caught by the fire, the French soldiers ran out of their defensive positions in panic, straight towards the German rifles. Within minutes, the French defense collapsed completely. After its initial successes on a small scale, the flamethrower unit would be expanded to the size of battalion as the 3rd Garde Pionier Battalion under the patronage of Wilhelm, Crown Prince of the German Empire and Prussia. A platoon of flamethrower operators would also join Captain Willy Rohr's assault detachment or stormtroopers, becoming a part of German assault tactics. Flamethrower operators from the battalion, sent to support other infantry units, made an impact during the German offensive at Verdun in 1916, where they conducted 57 attacks, 33 of which were judged to be successful. Since Redenmann's unit proved to be of great help, it was expanded to the level of regiment, becoming the Guard Reserve Pioneer Regiment. They became the principal flamethrower unit until the end of the war. For the contribution to the war effort, the Guard Reserve Pioneer Regiment was awarded a Totenkopf badge, a Death's Head badge, by Crown Prince Wilhelm on July 28, 1916, which was considered to be a great honor. Since then, flamethrower operators wore the Death's Head insignia on their left sleeve, and entire regiments became known as the Totenkopf Pionier, or Death's Head Pioneers. Due to their great success, flamethrower operators became notorious for being one of the most terrifying units on the battlefield. As many French and British soldiers reported, even the hissing sound of the burning flamethrower muzzle would give them shivers. However, their notoriety would cause the flamethrower operator problems. Their existence on the front lines was not easy at all. First of all, being a completely new weapon meant the flamethrower had a lot of issues. Gas cylinders were prone to malfunctions and pressure decreases, causing weapon failure. Second, because the enemy were terrified of them, flamethrower operators knew they would be marked men. Anytime they would appear in combat, enemy soldiers would concentrate their fire on the operators, and no mercy would be given if they were caught alive. It was soon realized that leaving a flamethrower team on their own made them extremely vulnerable to the enemy, so infantry support was always required. During the entirety of the war, flamethrower operators carried out over 600 attacks. Most enemy casualties came from the infantry fire that followed once they were flushed out of the trenches by the flamethrower than the actual flamethrower itself. Spetsnaz, Soviet-Afghanistan War, 1979 to 1989. On the 27th of December 1979, the Soviet 40th Army invaded Afghanistan with the intention of propping up the communist government of the People's Democratic Party of Afghanistan against a growing insurgency. At the time, the U.S. had been making progress in the Middle East to Moscow's dismay. The U.S. had succeeded in courting Egypt, Israel, Saudi Arabia, Pakistan, and others. On the back of this, the Soviet Union feared the loss of its communist proxy in Afghanistan. By the time the Soviet forces had entered the region, they had deployed 2 airborne assault brigades, 180 sorties of Antonov 12 and Antonov 22 transport aircraft, 100 combat aircraft, and a great number of troops to secure the Bagram Air Base 40 miles north of Kabul. Accompanying these initial forces were paratroopers and Spetsnaz. The Spetsnaz were the Soviet Special Forces, an elite Soviet tactical force known for their effectiveness, ferocity, and skill. During the Cold War, there was a veil of secrecy over the structure of these units and their purpose, leading to their almost legendary status in the West. Often, Spetsnaz are thought of as Army commando units. In reality, however, Spetsnaz are not a specific tactical unit, but a more general clandestine force which were deployed at the behest of the Soviet intelligence security services for special missions. The most notorious were naturally those specialized in reconnaissance, commando, and special operations. There were several Spetsnaz units in the Soviet Union. The GRU Spetsnaz. These were and continue to be the special forces of the Russian Armed Forces Military Intelligence Directorate. The GRU Spetsnaz were formed in 1949 with the task to carry out reconnaissance and sabotage activity behind enemy lines. GRU Spetsnaz were assigned to units of the ground forces. The GRU VMF Spetsnaz. Formed in 1941, they were another special formation of the military intelligence assigned to the Soviet Navy. The KGB Spetsnaz, also known as Alpha. Set up in 1974 by the KGB's 8th Directorate in charge of surveillance, according to one contemporary report in the Washington Post from 1986, Department 8 had been connected with assassinations, kidnappings, sabotage, and other direct action operations for decades. And finally, there was the KGB SVR Spetsnaz, also known as Vempel, another KGB unit set up in 1979 by the first main directorate in charge of foreign affairs. Their role was to conduct military actions abroad. The GRU and KGB picked only the best for these elite units. Recruits were primarily picked for their intelligence and physical skills, as well as by their motivation to fight unequivocally for their country. Every military district had a Spetsnaz brigade. and their headquarters served as recruitment centers for special operation units. Across the breadth of the Soviet Union were centers for the recruitment of future Spetsnaz soldiers. Young men were conscripted from high schools, sports clubs, and colleges, and those that showed the special physical and mental aptitude were designated Spetsnaz. During the Afghan campaign, Soviet military commanders focused on recruiting young men from Muslim regions of the Soviet Union. Young men from Central Asian republics were suited to infiltration and counterinsurgency. These recruits practiced the same religion, shared similar conservative social backgrounds, and most importantly, many of these young men spoke Farsi. The involvement of the Spetsnaz began when the Soviet command had realized that mechanized infantry units were not effective against the Mujahideen guerrilla tactics. Spetsnaz, the USSR's elite forces, were seen as a unit capable of fighting this new enemy. However, even the Spetsnaz initially lacked the mountain warfare training necessary for the Mujahideen and had to adapt to new challenges. Standard Spetsnaz training was designed to engender extreme mental and psychological fitness. Superb physical fitness was achieved through intense exercise and forced marches in full combat equipment. The mental strength was acquired from frequent bullying and beatings from senior NCOs and officers. Spetsnaz forces also had to master elite combat skills. They had to be exceptional marksmen, skillful in operating a variety of weapons and explosives. Recruits also had to master hand-to-hand combat. Allegedly, Spetsnaz forces practiced hand-to-hand combat skills through 12-minute freestyle sparring matches against 3 opponents. The rest of the program consisted of airborne training, mountain climbing, rappelling, medical training, and using modern means of radio communication. Also, according to one contemporary Pentagon report, Spetsnaz forces were fluent in 1 or more foreign languages. Basic training lasted on average for 2 months. Additionally, specialized training programs lasted for 3 to 4 years. Less than 10% of selected troops managed to complete the entire program. For service in Afghanistan, Spetsnaz were encouraged to adapt their training to the conditions of the campaign, which would include long-range patrols, reconnaissance exercises, ambushes, and raids. In order to familiarize themselves with the terrain in Afghanistan, they were dropped by helicopters in the middle of the mountains. And after they accomplished their training missions, they had to find their own way back to base by themselves. Afghanistan was a new experience for Spetsnaz, and it also acted as a testing site for new Soviet weapons. Being an elite unit, Spetsnaz were equipped with the most advanced weapons. Spetsnaz were armed with the then-new 5.45mm AKS-74 assault rifle equipped with a GP-25 underbarrel grenade launcher. As these were still in an experimental phase, there were many situations in which they malfunctioned. For that reason, Spetsnaz also used standard 7.62mm AK-47 assault rifles. Other infantry weapons used were standard Soviet weapons including RPK light machine guns, DSHK heavy machine guns, SVD sniper rifles, and AGS-17 automatic grenade launchers. Special AKMS assault rifles with short barrels and silencers were used for stealth operations. Spetsnaz forces also used the 6-round PSS silent pistol for reconnaissance and assassination missions. The pistol was effective at 82 feet and was effective in suppressing sound. Unlike other silenced pistols, the PSS was silenced using a sealed cartridge system. For reconnaissance missions, Spetsnaz used equipment that were products of the latest Soviet technology. For the first time, Spetsnaz used gadgets like laser rangefinders, night binoculars, and night vision goggles. For sabotage operations, Spetsnaz used equipment unavailable to standard troops. These included radio-controlled explosives. Once set, it could be activated by command posts at distances away of 1,240 miles. The greatest improvements were made by means of tactical communication. Spetsnaz soldiers in Afghanistan were equipped with the latest radio devices that enabled constant communication with commands at large distances. Advanced weaponry and equipment were the only thing that separated Spetsnaz from the rest of the army in their appearance. Spetsnaz didn't have their own distinct military uniform, but were using uniforms of the unit they were assigned to. They looked exactly as any other soldier in order to keep their existence and operations clandestine. There were some modern rucksacks, boots, and loading equipment that were deployed, but these were very scarce. The role of Spetsnaz in Afghanistan was not in accordance to their original mission. They were sent there to reinforce the standard units who had difficulty fighting the guerrilla forces in the Afghanistan mountain regions. In Afghanistan, Spetsnaz were deployed for a variety of operations. The The invasion of Afghanistan began with a Spetsnaz operation. This was the famous Operation Storm 333, with the objective to assassinate Afghan President Hafizullah Amin in order to install a puppet government. On December 27, 1979, GRU and KGB Spetsnaz teams Thunder, Grom, and Zenith assaulted Tajabek Palace dressed in Afghan uniforms. The majority of the Spetsnaz soldiers were Tajiks and Uzbeks who spoke Farsi. Spetsnaz swiftly overcame the resistance of the president's guard, located the president, and killed him. At the same time, other Spetsnaz teams secured key government and military centers in Kabul, including the airport. The effectiveness of Spetsnaz units in the operation resulted in minimal casualties. In the first few years of the war, Spetsnaz were primarily engaged in the protection of their military bases and for securing bridgeheads. Initially, Spetsnaz forces were used to reinforce the standard Soviet 40th Army and Afghan forces combating the Mujahideen. As fighting continued, Soviet command realized that their standard mechanized infantry units were not capable of combating the Mujahideen guerrilla tactics, and it became necessary to engage Spetsnaz on counterinsurgency operations. Reconnaissance was a key focus for Spetsnaz forces in Afghanistan. Spetsnaz were tasked with locating insurgents' bases, ammunition stores, and command centers, often covering distances of up to 150 kilometers per day. Once these were located, Spetsnaz would usually call for reinforcements in the way of airstrikes. Spetsnaz were also engaged in combat operations. One of their most notable assault operations happened in early March 1986. With the help of mechanized infantry, the D-30 Artillery Battalion, Mi-8 and Mi-24 helicopters, and Su-25 aircrafts, Spetsnaz attacked and seized Mujahideen weapon and ammunition caches at the Sadigar Canyon. One key tactic of the Spetsnaz in combating the Mujahideen was to cut their supply lines from neighboring countries to Afghanistan, including Pakistan. The tactic was to drop Spetsnaz detachments deep into Mujahideen territory with Mi-8 helicopters, where they would then set up one or more ambushes along the supply routes. Often, Spetsnaz limited their engagement, locating the enemy caravan, after which they would call in an airstrike by Mi-8 helicopters. On several occasions, the Spetsnaz would finish the job themselves by organizing an ambush. One such occasion was at the Yakpe Mountain Pass. Spetsnaz prepared an ambush for the Mujahideen caravan on August 30, 1987. After they let the vanguard patrol pass, they attacked the caravan that followed. Covered by night, Spetsnaz used flares to illuminate the enemy and in just a few minutes had killed the enemy forces. FIM-92 and Stinger missiles acquired by the Mujahideen in 1986 became the key target for Spetsnaz reconnaissance teams. The devastating effect of Stinger missiles rendered them a significant threat to the Soviet forces, and the Soviets rallied frantically to locate and eliminate as many launchers as they could. The Spetsnaz were an effective counterinsurgency force against the Mujahideen during the Soviet-Afghan conflict, much more so than the standard Soviet forces. However, while Spetsnaz were successful in their missions in Afghanistan, their involvement in the country ended in February 1989, when the last contingent of Soviet soldiers withdrew from Afghanistan.
Roman legionary, 1st century BC to the 3rd century AD. Since its earliest history, the term legion has been heavily associated with the Roman military, whether it denoted entire armies in the formation years of the Roman Republic, or the more elite forces we have come to associate with the period of the Roman Empire. The form and structure of the elite Roman Empire was established in the late 2nd century BC by Consul Gaius Marius, implementing the significant Marian reforms of the Roman
What the fuck? stutter. My hands stutter too. What the fuck?
elite forces in entire armies in the formation years of the Roman Republic, or the more elite forces we have come to elite Roman. If a soldier was discharged, thus and from their ancestors. Now and then there were cases where veterans still received land bonuses for their discharge. Tunics worn by legionaries were not too different from those of ordinary citizens. It was the belt, baltes, and the sandal boots, caligae, that made the legionaries' appearance distinctive. They were a symbol that you belonged to the military. If a soldier was discharged dishonorably, his belt was confiscated as he was not deemed worthy anymore of wearing it. Belts were made either as a single waist type or as a two-crossed belt, with silver or bronze embossed plate decorations and an attached apron made in the same fashion. They were used for carrying a dagger and a sword. Sandal boots, as another distinctive feature of legionary clothing, allowed legionaries to weather long marches on various types of terrain. These heavy-duty sandals' outsoles were made of one piece of cowhide or oxhide. They were attached to thick leather soles with hobnails. The sound of these hobnails announced the arrival of the legionaries. Armor was an important part of the legionary's equipment. It protected his upper body in battle and came in 3 different versions. The most recognizable was a cuirass made of segments, lorica segmentata. The cuirass consisted of metal plates and hoops fastened to internal leather strips. The design allowed adequate mobility in combat, but its protection was limited to torso and shoulders only. The weight of the cuirass was about 20 pounds or 9 kilograms. There's a lot of controversy about how common cuirasses were among legionaries. It's more plausible that they used iron ringmail shirts, lorica hamtata, on a far larger scale. Mail shirts were made both sleeveless and with short sleeves, and were long enough to cover the thighs. The shoulder region was reinforced with additional pieces of leather faced with rings. The standard mail shirt consisted of around 30,000 rings and weighed up to 33 pounds or 15 kilograms. The third type of armor was a scale armor, lorica squamata. It consisted of a number of small iron scale-like plates attached to a thick doublet made of linen and stuffed with wool. It was worn in combination with pterouge, overlapping leather strips attached to the edges of the armor to protect the upper parts of the arms and legs. This type of armor was the cheapest and provided the least protection. The shield, the scutum, provided the legionary extra protection. The scutum was made of 3 layers of wood in a crosswise arrangement and was faced with felt and calfskin on the outer surface. The shield was slightly thinner on the edges than at the center, where it had a prominent wooden boss. At the beginning, the scutum had an oval shape and was curved, but in the Augustan age, it took the shape of a curved rectangle. The size of the shield varied. Usually it was around 2.5 feet or 76 centimeters in width, and 4 feet or 120 centimeters in length. The variety of sizes and materials used to construct it affected the weight of the shield, which varied from 12 pounds to 22 pounds, or 5.5 to 10 kilograms. Because of the weight, shields were held by the horizontal grip with a straight arm. Shields were used not only to protect from enemy blows, but also for hitting and toppling the enemy. Helmets. The last piece of protective equipment went through several modifications. At first, legionaries wore the so-called Montefortino helmets, simple helmets with long cheek pieces and a small rear peak. These helmets were replaced with Culus helmets, and later by the famous Imperial Gallic helmets. These helmets had increased protection with significantly larger rear peaks, brow peaks, larger cheek pieces with hinged throat flanges, and ear holes. Gallic helmets were distinctive for embossed eyebrows on the front part. A later version of this helmet was known as the Imperial Italic helmet. The weight of the full equipment plus the weapons was 67 pounds or 30.4 kilograms, a pretty heavy burden for a legionary in battle, and especially when marching. If carrying his leather pack with spare clothes, cooking utensils, mess kit, and rations, the weight increased to 97 pounds or 44 kilograms, and even more if a legionary had to carry his entrenching equipment. Javelin. The pilum was a distinctive weapon of a legionary. There were 2 types of pilums, a heavy one for close combat and a lighter one used by skirmishers for throwing. Heavy pilums were more than 6 feet long, or 1.8 meters, and consisted of a wooden shaft and a 1.3 to 3 foot or 40 centimeter to 90 centimeter long iron shank, with a pyramidal point that was either tanged or socketed into a wooden shaft. With an average weight of 4.4 pounds or 2 kilograms, this kind of pilum was strong and designed to punch through the enemy shield and armor. Another type of much lighter throwing javelin appeared in the late 1st century and was known as a lancia. The introduction of this weapon led to the formation of a new type of soldier in legions in the early 3rd century, called lanciari. After the initial pilum attack, legionaries would use their swords, the gladius. Contrary to popular belief, the gladius was not necessarily a short sword. The earliest Roman sword, the so-called Spanish sword, gladius hispaniensis, was a medium-length sword with a blade length of up to 27 inches, or 69 centimeters, and a width of 2 inches, or 5 centimeters. The blade was either straight or with slightly wasted edges. During the reign of Emperor Augustus, these swords were replaced with the Mainz Fulham type gladius. Its blade was shorter at 16 to 22 inches, or 40 to 56 centimeters, but much broader at 3.2 inches, or 8 centimeters. The Pompey type was the lightest version, as its blade was 16.5 to 21.5 inches, or 42 to 55 centimeters long, but only 2 inches or 5 centimeters wide. All types were used in the same cut and thrust technique. Swords were held in metal scabbards with wooden or leather inserts. Scabbards had 4 rings that were used to attach to the belt. Legionaries carried their swords on the right, contrary to the officers who carried them on the left. In the same fashion, but on the opposite side, a legionary carried his dagger, the pugio. In essence, this was a miniature gladius with a wasted blade 12 inches or 30 centimeters in length. Hard training, tactics, and weaponry were all important reasons behind the success of Roman legions, but it was the feeling of comradeship and belonging to the unit that drove the legionaries into battle. When joining a legion, each legionary swore 2 oaths. The first was to obey his consul, and the second was to his manipularis, comrades from the maniple, never to abandon a comrade and never to abandon his place in the battle unless to recover a weapon or to save a friend. The legionary fought first for his comrades, then his century and legion, then for glory, and finally for the emperor and the state. The bond between legionaries was built on a daily basis. The contubernium, a group of 8 men that shared a single tent, was the basic group around which this bond was created. These men slept, ate, trained, and spent their time together and ultimately fought shoulder to shoulder on the battlefield. Disregarding this bond by showing cowardice in battle or neglecting one's duties was punished with the greatest severity. The worst of the punishment was fustuarium, execution by being beaten to death by the soldiers whose lives were endangered by the coward's axe. This group of soldiers had a bond that spread throughout the entire century. Belonging to a specific century and legion was of great importance to the legionaries. They cherished the traditions and the identity of their units through their specific emblems, numerical identification, and title. To a legionary, his century and legion were his home. Everyone in it was comolito, a fellow soldier, no matter what his rank was. Where did neutral Spain fight in World War II? The Blue Division was the Spanish volunteer unit of the German army. Although Spain was a neutral state during World War II, its fascist regime favored the Axis powers, and for that reason they allowed Spanish citizens to volunteer to join the Wehrmacht. This was also a way for Spain's fascist leader Franco to show his gratitude to Germany for its assistance during the Spanish Civil War. The only condition Franco set out was that volunteers would only be allowed to fight on the Eastern Front. This would be to avoid any confrontation with the Western Allies. Most of the volunteers were
Yeah, man. Ooh, I'm real tired. Ooh,
already